Hey guys, tonight we're setting foot gently, mind you, on Hyperion, Saturn's 18th moon. The air here, or what passes for air, glows like a lazy firefly, and the landscape smells faintly of salted mist and overcooked vegetables, which in space travel terms is basically aromatherapy. You're stepping onto a spongy shore beneath a sky that doesn't know what color it wants to be, purple, mostly, but with stubborn streaks of green and silver from Saturn's distant reflection. Somewhere in the distance, the lanternfish gardens pulse in a soft, sleepy rhythm. They've been pulsing like that since before we even knew Hyperion existed. You probably won't survive this in any traditional biological sense, but luckily, we're here in the spirit of soothing sci-fi fiction, not physics-based survival. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here, and let me know in the comments where you're listening from and what time it is where you are. I love seeing how far this little sleepy spaceship drifts each night. Now dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You disembark from the shuttle with a graceful sort of wobble. Hyperion's gravity is faint, just enough to keep your boots pressed gently against the marshy surface, but loose enough to make every step feel like walking on a memory. The landing pad itself is a wide platform carved from compressed glow fungus, very renewable, very squishy, very unnerving. The sky above you twitches with faint auroras, despite the lack of atmosphere thick enough to really host them. It's part of the garden's artificial climate system, a subtle, planetary scale biosmanwane engineered to keep things dreamy. There's no sun here right now, just Saturn looming like an indecisive god, casting long, cinnamon-tinted shadows across the moss-slick plains. To your left, a leaning sign made of petrified driftwood reads, in 7 languages including one that resembles polite sneezing, "Welcome to Hyperion's lanternfish gardens. No running, no quantum defenestogenate." You begin your slow walk toward the gardens proper. The first thing you notice, the silence. It's not the absence of sound, exactly, it's the sense that all sound has been tucked in for a nap. Even your footsteps land with a hushed pluff, like the moon itself doesn't want to wake up. The path curves slightly, guiding you along the edge of a methane marsh. The liquid is a strange, syrupy teal that refracts tiny starbursts of light from the lanternfish vines curling lazily in the water. These aren't fish in the traditional sense, nor vines in the botanical sense. Think of them as long, twitchy ribbons of bioluminescence tissue that dangle like lazy jellyfish from the hovering cloud roots above. Each one pulses with soft color in time with something deeper, something that seems to hum inside your ribcage, even though you haven't swallowed any local pollen yet. Not today, anyway. You pause beside one of the larger vine clusters, noticing a small wooden plaque carved in swirling script. It reads, "This species dreams during low-gravity swells. Please do not disturb its REM cycle." You offer a respectful nod. Farther ahead, a flock of air wobblers, imagine frogs with glider wings and glassy eyes, lazily drifts through the fog. One blinks at you as it passes, its throat bulb lighting up with a message in Morse-like pulses. Roughly translated, it says you're late for the slow. You take that as encouragement. A small hover drift cart glides into view, operated by a translucent creature with too many elbows. It offers you a lift, but you decline, partly out of politeness, partly because the seat is visibly moist. There's something ancient about this place. not old in a dusty, cobwebbed way, but ancient like lullabies sung before language, the soft sloshing of the marsh, the pulsing light, the way your thoughts start to feel less like thoughts and more like gentle ripples in still water. Scientists still wonder if the lanternfish gardens are naturally occurring, or if they're a long-abandoned terraforming experiment gone half-right. Some speculate that the gardens were never meant to be tended by people at all, but by something slower, dreamier, a caretaker species that no longer exists or never quite did. You cross a narrow stone bridge, its surface woven from petrified kelp fibers and embedded with tiny, softly glowing crystals. They light up in a path behind your steps, then dim slowly as if exhaling after each footprint. Ahead, the landscape opens up into a kind of valley, or, perhaps more accurately, a planetary sigh. The wetlands ripple outward, forming bulbous mounds of floating vegetation where lanternfish vines anchor themselves. Some glow in shades of sleep lavender, others flicker with faint signals of unsent messages. You find a bench, just a log, really, with moss on one side and an engraved quote on the other. You are not lost, you are simply elsewhere. You sit, the fog thickens slightly, but it's not heavy, more like a dream that hasn't fully decided what shape to take yet. A few meters ahead, you spot something moving beneath the water's surface. Not threatening, just curious. It leaves a trail of tiny bubbles that hum softly in overlapping triads, a soundscape composed for one listener at a time. One lantern vine unspousal from above, drifting down to eye level. You lock eyes if that glowing knot counts as an eye and feel a sleepy pulse echo gently inside your chest. It's like being recognized by something very old and very relaxed. You swear, for just a second. It winks, you let yourself smile, even though your cheeks feel floaty. There's nothing here that wants anything from you, just light, water, moss, and that ever-present hush. And so you continue forward slowly, softly into the lantern-lit quiet of Saturn's 18th moon. You rise from the mossy log, your legs a bit reluctant to leave that spot of calm, but the garden itself seems to beckon with new mysteries just beyond the mist. The path ahead winds into a series of shallow pools, their surfaces covered in delicate, crystalline algae that glitter like spun glass under the dim glow of distant Saturn. These pools are not just water, they are memory mirrors, said to reflect not what's visible but what's felt deep inside the quiet, the forgotten, the softly glowing corners of your own mind. As you step lightly from stone to stone, you notice the pools ripple with a soft pulse. When you look closer, tiny orbs smaller than a fingernail and luminous float just beneath the surface, drifting gently as if caught in a slow cosmic current. These orbs, the locals say, are dream seeds, microscopic carriers of collective reveries planted by the lanternfish themselves. Each seed holds a fragment of a dream harvested from other worlds, though no one really knows how they collect them, or where their network extends beyond Hyperion. You crouch to watch one orb as it shimmers with an iridescent blue, faint whispers seeming to ripple from within. The sound is so faint you almost question whether it's in your mind or the wind or perhaps the garden's pulse itself. It's the kind of soft secret that seems too fragile to hold but too precious to lose. Nearby, a peculiar little creature emerges from the algae, a spindle-shaped being with 6 gentle limbs and a translucent carapace that flickers with amber and starlight indigo. Its eyes, if you can call them that, are a set of rotating crystal facets that catch and refract the soft light. casting tiny rainbows over the pool's surface. It's a keeper of the dream seeds, tasked with tending and releasing these delicate orbs when the cosmic tide is right. You try to follow the keeper's slow, deliberate movements as it dips one of its limbs into the pool, nudging a cluster of seeds toward a narrow channel where the water seems to hum louder. There's a ritual grace to this small dance, a rhythm you feel in your own chest. Like a heartbeat listening to something vast and slow-moving beyond comprehension, scientists still wonder if this species evolved naturally, or if it's an engineered guardian, part animal, part alchemical construct designed to protect and distribute dream stuff across the galaxy. Could there be a hidden network of such gardens, each one a node in a cosmic web of shared sleep and story? You decide to sit by the water's edge, your fingers trailing lightly through the cool liquid. The algae feels silky, almost like brushed velvet, and the orbs float past your skin, leaving trails of glowing mist that twinkle before fading. You realize the water itself carries a gentle, lulling vibration that seems to nudge your thoughts into slower rhythms. A sudden, soft breeze stirs the surrounding flora, causing the vines overhead to sway and pulse in response. One vine unfurls a glowing bloom shaped like a tiny lantern, its light shifting through comet russet and plasma teal hues. As it swings low, you catch a faint scent of sweet mint and something that reminds you of old paper, like a book left open to a favorite passage. You breathe in slowly, feeling the atmosphere settle deeper into your lungs, calming your restless mind. Above you, the sky continues its quiet dance, twin moons circling lazily, their pale light filtering through the fog. Occasionally, a shimmering shard of ice drifts downward, dissolving before it touches the ground, like the garden's own version of falling stars. As night deepens, the garden's lightscape shifts, lanternfish vines brighten in a slow wave of luminescence, washing over the pools and casting dreamlike shadows across the marsh. The air fills with a faint chorus, the distant humming of the lullaby morphs, whose delicate wings create sound vibrations just beyond hearing, soothing the mind in ways no human instrument ever could. You close your eyes for a moment, letting the dream seeds' whispers mingle with the morph's lullaby. You wonder quietly, could these gentle sounds be a language, a code meant not to be understood but felt? Scientists still debate if the morphs themselves possess a rudimentary form of consciousness, or if they are simply elegant byproducts of the garden's grand design. With your eyes open again, you spot a cluster of small glass orbs hanging from the vines, glowing faintly with inside light. These are memory lanterns, vessels where past dreams are stored for safekeeping. You imagine a procession of these dreams floating across the galaxy, silent passengers on cosmic winds, carrying the gentle hopes and soft secrets of countless beings. You find yourself humming softly, catching on to the rhythm of the garden's pulse. The hum, the shimmer, the lanternfish vines sway in unison, and for a moment, you feel perfectly synchronized with the slow, graceful heartbeat of Saturn's 18th moon. You rise, feeling lighter, more adrift, and continue onward, deeper into the lanternfish gardens where every light, every ripple, and every breath is a story waiting to be softly told. You wander farther into the lanternfish gardens, where the soft glow from the algae pools fades into a denser thicket of crystalline flora. Here, the landscape becomes a labyrinth of glowing branches that seem almost alive, twisting upward and outward like the ribs of an ancient, slumbering creature. These are the lantern trees, named for the clusters of bioluminescent pods that hang like lanterns from their branches, each glowing with a gentle plasma teal light that pulses slowly, mimicking the breath of the garden itself. The air is cooler now, carrying a faint, sweet aroma reminiscent of amber and wet stone. As you move through the winding paths, you notice delicate figures, small, winged caretakers known as glow-rites, darting between the branches. Their bodies shimmer with starlight, indigo, and comet russet. Their wings translucent and humming with a barely audible sound, like a soft chime. These tiny beings tend to the lantern trees with painstaking care, weaving strands of crystal and brass into the bark and carefully pruning glowing tendrils with delicate tools shaped from bone and bronze. One glow-rite pauses mid-flight near you, its multifaceted eyes reflecting your surprised gaze. It extends a slender limb holding a crystal lantern filled with a swirling mist that seems to capture fragments of dreams, moments of joy, sorrow, wonder held inside like precious cargo. The glow-rite offers it gently, as if inviting you to peer inside, and you find yourself mesmerized by the shifting images within, a child's laughter echoing across an alien meadow, the slow dance of twin suns setting behind distant mountains, a forgotten lullaby whispered in a tongue no longer spoken. You reach out tentatively, fingertips brushing the lantern's surface, and feel a faint warmth radiate through your skin. It's almost as if the garden itself is breathing, alive with memories and stories folded into every leaf and petal. Scientists studying the lanternfish gardens theorize that these glow-rites might be living repositories of collective memory, encoding the dreams they tend into their crystalline lanterns. Some speculate they may even communicate across great distances by exchanging these dream-filled lanterns, a silent network of shared experience and emotion linking distant worlds. Could this be a form of cosmic empathy beyond language? A dream-based telepathy that we have yet to understand. As you continue deeper into the labyrinth, the lantern trees grow taller, their glowing pods casting intricate shadows on the parchment-like ground. The interplay of light and darkness feels like a quiet dance, a visual lullaby coaxing your mind to wander gently. You pause beneath a particularly ancient tree, its trunk broad and gnarled, adorned with intricate alchemical runes carved into the bark. The runes shimmer faintly with silver ink, and as you trace them with your eyes, you catch the soft hum of old magic, or perhaps science so advanced it appears magical. A soft rustle draws your attention upward, where a cluster of dream orbs hover like delicate fruit. Each orb pulses with a slow rhythm, some glowing pale gold, others a muted rose. The garden's heartbeat seems to synchronize with their gentle light, and you feel your own pulse slowing in response. You sit against the tree's sturdy trunk, the alchemical symbols radiating a calming energy that seeps into your bones. Round you, the glow-rites resume their quiet work, their chimes blending into the ambient soundscape of humming vines, rippling pools, and the distant murmur of lullaby moths. In this moment, you wonder, could the lanternfish gardens be a blueprint for peace, a place where memories, dreams, and life itself intertwine in perfect harmony? Scientists still debate whether the garden's delicate balance can withstand the encroaching changes of the wider galaxy, or if such fragile sanctuaries will one day vanish like forgotten dreams. You lean back, eyes closing briefly, as the garden's soft light wraps around you like a gentle embrace. For a fleeting instant, you feel as though you belong here, not just as an observer, but as a part of the living dreamscape itself. The path winds onward, and you find yourself approaching a shimmering lagoon nestled deep within the lanternfish gardens. This is the Pool of Whispering Lights, a serene body of water so still it reflects the twin moons and stars above like a flawless mirror. Its surface ripples softly, stirred only by gentle breezes and the slow, deliberate movement of bioluminescent creatures called lanternfish, whose translucent bodies emit a soothing, ethereal glow in hues of plasma teal and soft gold. You kneel at the edge, reaching your hand toward the cool water, and watch as the lanternfish gather beneath your fingertips, their delicate fins tracing hypnotic patterns that seem to echo ancient cosmic rhythms. These fish are not mere animals but sentient beings, revered by the Dream Vault's caretakers for their ability to absorb and amplify the dreams carried by the garden's currents. Scientists speculate their bioluminescence is a living language, a silent conversation of light pulses that can convey emotions and memories. The air around the lagoon is heavy with the scent of mint and petrichor, an aromatic reminder of distant rains that once nourished the moon's rocky soil. Soft, silver dust drifts lazily on the breeze, catching the light like tiny stars caught in a spider's web. You notice a faint melody in the air, the dream currents themselves humming in harmony with the lullaby sung by the lullaby moths, their gossamer wings stirring the night air with delicate vibrations. Nearby, a lone dream shepherd stands quietly on a stone pedestal carved from iridescent crystal, robes glowing faintly in nebula saffron and comet russet. Their hands move with practiced grace, holding a brass astrolabe-like instrument that releases a sequence of gentle notes. Feeding the dream currents and coaxing the lanternfish to dance in ever more intricate patterns, the shepherd's expression is one of deep focus and serene kindness, as if nurturing the fragile heartbeats of countless unseen lives. You feel yourself drawn deeper into this tranquil moment, your breath slowing in time with the soft pulse of the glowing fish and the shepherd's melodic ritual. It's almost as if the lagoon itself is a gateway, a place where memories and hopes flow freely between worlds, weaving together the dreams of distant beings you will never meet. Scientists still wonder if such dream-harvesting lagoons exist elsewhere in the cosmos, and if their currents might someday serve as bridges between disparate civilizations, allowing empathy to flow where words cannot reach. As the dream currents swirl gently around you, you close your eyes and let the peaceful melody wash over your mind, carrying you toward restful sleep beneath the twin moon's watchful gaze. You rise from the pool of whispering lights and follow a narrow stone path winding deeper into the lanternfish gardens, the bioluminescent glow of the creatures lighting your way like tiny stars caught in a crystal web. Soon, the air changes thicker now with the scent of sweet spice and damp earth, and you arrive at a circular clearing where the garden's famed dream vines thrive. These aren't ordinary plants, their twisting tendrils pulse softly with plasma teal light, curling like the delicate fingers of a sleeping child reaching out for forgotten dreams. The dream vines are unique to this moon, believed to be part plant, part bio-neural organism, capable of recording the dreams and emotions of anyone who brushes against their leaves. When touched, they hum a quiet, soothing melody, releasing faint bursts of fragrant light and soft whispers that feel like lullabies sung across centuries. You tentatively press a fingertip against a vine, and immediately feel a wave of calm ripple through your body, as if you're sharing a secret conversation with the garden itself. A dream shepherd appears beside you, clad in robes dyed in comet russet and nebula saffron, embroidered with iridescent symbols that seem to shimmer and shift in the low light. The shepherd explains that these vines are considered sentient by some cultures, dreamers themselves, who exchange memories with the vault through slow, wordless dialogue. You wonder whether the vines hold dreams not just from this moon, but from far-flung corners of the galaxy. And if, in their silent communion, they weave a tapestry of cosmic empathy yet to be understood by science. Behind the shepherd, a brass and crystal apparatus shaped like an ancient harp stretches toward the sky, its strings gently vibrating as soft wind currents pass through. This dream harp is used to amplify the vine's melodies, turning their whispers into music that flows throughout the garden, harmonizing with the glowing dance of the lanternfish below. You take a deep breath, savoring the mingled scents of jasmine, whetstone, and the electric tang of plasma light, and wonder what it would feel like to become part of this endless exchange, a dream among dreams, whispered softly into the vastness of space. Scientists remain intrigued by the vine's bio-neural complexity, still unsure if their dream-sharing abilities hint at a universal language of consciousness connecting all life forms. The garden's soft light bathes you in quiet warmth, inviting you to linger a moment longer in this place where hope and memory blossom side by side. You step away from the dream vine clearing, your footsteps light on the polished stone path. As the soft glow of the lanternfish fades gently behind you, the garden's atmosphere shifts subtly, becoming cooler and more serene. As you approach the orb orchard, a grove where luminous fruit hangs from crystalline branches like tiny suns caught in frozen amber. Each orb pulses with a delicate golden light, said to contain distilled moments of starlight and fleeting dreams captured during Saturn's long nights. A slender caretaker in starlight indigo robes moves gracefully among the branches, her wooden exosuit softly creaking with each motion. She carefully plucks an orb, holding it up to the light to reveal tiny swirling galaxies within, alive and shimmering. The caretaker explains that these orbs are not merely decorative, they are harvested to fuel the vault's ancient dream-weaving machines, devices of brass and crystal that weave the orbs' contained memories into new, shared dreams for travelers across the solar system. As you watch, she places the orb into a delicate brass cradle attached to a complex astrolabe-like mechanism. Gears of burnished copper turn slowly, and a soft hum fills the air as the machine begins its slow dance, casting shimmering patterns onto the nearby leaves. The orchard feels sacred, a place where time seems to fold inward, suspended between waking and dreaming. You reach out to touch a low-hanging orb, feeling its faint warmth and the gentle pulse of the captured starlight within. The sensation is both grounding and otherworldly, like holding a fragment of the cosmos in your palm. You wonder how many memories have passed through these glowing fruits, and if one day these orbs might hold the key to understanding the universe's deepest mysteries. Above, the twin moons cast their cool light through the translucent leaves, creating a shimmering canopy that seems to pulse with quiet life. The air carries the subtle scent of crushed mint, and the distant sound of a lullaby played on an ancient wooden flute. Blending perfectly with the orchard's luminous magic, scientists speculate whether such dream-fueled orchards exist elsewhere, perhaps on moons circling distant gas giants, or in the hidden gardens of forgotten exoplanets, waiting to be discovered by future explorers. You stand still for a moment longer, wrapped in the gentle glow, feeling a strange and peaceful connection to the vast, dreaming cosmos beyond. You leave the soft glow of the orb orchard behind, stepping onto a narrow wooden bridge that arches over a gentle stream winding through the garden. The water here is unlike any you've known, dark and glassy, reflecting the starlit sky above, yet tinged with a faint plasma teal shimmer that seems to ripple with quiet energy. Along the banks, clusters of crystalline reeds sway gently, their tips glowing with tiny silver flourishes like the edges of ancient manuscripts. Ahead, you see the Dream Shepherd's Pavilion, an elegant structure made of carved brass and polished stone, its walls etched with swirling alchemical symbols that seem to dance in the dim light. Inside, a group of robed figures in comet russet and nebula saffron sit in a semispiral, performing a slow, ritualistic melody on wooden flutes crossed with brass astrolabes. The music feels both timeless and futuristic, threading through the air like a whispered lullaby. One shepherd lifts a small, glowing dream orb from a nearby cradle, holding it delicately as the notes flow around it. The orb responds, its light pulsing in time with the music, growing brighter and shifting through soft hues of blue and gold. Watching this interplay, you sense the immense care taken to nurture each dream, a living hope gently coaxed forward by sound and touch. The air is thick with the scent of jasmine and wet stone, grounding the moment in quiet serenity. As you breathe in, you notice tiny motes of silver dust drifting lazily, catching on the edges of the intricate carvings. It feels as though the very air is alive, humming with the collective memory of countless dreamers. You wonder if beyond the vault, other worlds have their own dream shepherds tending to the fragile hopes of their peoples, weaving quiet songs to keep those dreams safe in the vast cosmic night. The scene wraps around you like a cocoon of calm, the shepherd's melody a balm for restless minds, inviting you to linger in this sacred space a little longer. Crossing the pavilion threshold, you step into a space where time feels slower, as if the air itself breathes in measured pulses. Round you, shelves carved from dark wood and brass hold rows of alchemical scrolls, each one inscribed with the faded ink of dream lore from ages past. The parchment is delicate, edged with tiny silver flourishes that shimmer softly, catching the light like distant stars. The scent here shifts slightly, less jasmine, more of warm honey and aged paper, a comforting aroma that settles the mind. A dream shepherd, cloaked in nebula saffron robes, approaches with a wooden exosuit, a curious contraption of jointed brass and carved oak, designed to help caretakers navigate the delicate dream gardens without disturbing their fragile inhabitants. The suit's joints click softly as the shepherd moves, the brass astrolabe embedded on its chest glowing faintly with a pale plasma teal light. You watch as the shepherd carefully dons the exosuit, adjusting the crystal lantern hung from their belt. The lantern's light refracts in tiny rainbows, illuminating the nearby dream orbs suspended like jewels from the tree's branches. These orbs pulse softly, alive with possibilities, their colors shifting like a whispered secret. The shepherd steps outside, moving with deliberate grace over the garden paths. Each footfall sends a gentle ripple through the air, as if the garden itself recognizes this guardian and sighs in relief. It's a ritualized dance, centuries in the making, to nurture the living dreams that might one day bloom into something greater. As you follow quietly, you notice a faint glow along the path, bio-neural vines curling delicately, their tendrils glowing plasma teal as they hum soft melodies. It's said these vines can record dreams and replay them in fragrant bursts of light, sharing memories across time and space. Scientists still wonder if these vines might even dream themselves, blurring the lines between plant and mind. You can't help but wonder if these dream vines truly hold memories. Might they one day reveal forgotten histories, or whisper lost hopes to a future caretaker? The air grows cooler, and the soft hum of the garden wraps around you once again as the shepherd disappears deeper into the vault's embrace. You follow the dim glow of the dream vines deeper into the garden, where the branches of the luminous tree arc overhead like cathedral ribs, forming a natural vault that filters the soft light into dappled patterns on the ground. The dream orbs here grow larger and more vivid, their colors richer, deep cobalt blues mingling with gentle rose golds and shimmering emeralds. The air carries the faintest trace of mint and rain, mingling with the earthy scent of ancient wood and resin. A dream shepherd pauses beside one of the larger orbs, gently lifting it from its brass cradle. Their comet russet robe shifts like liquid fire with the movement. Holding the orb carefully, the shepherd brings it close to their crystal flute, astrolabe, a delicate instrument carved from translucent wood and etched with alchemical symbols. As they blow softly, the notes weave through the garden like a breeze, coaxing the dream inside to bloom brighter, filling the air with subtle glimmers of light. You notice how the orb responds, not just glowing, but pulsing rhythmically, almost breathing. The dream inside flickers with images you can't quite grasp: a child's laughter, the rush of a hidden stream, a faint echo of a forgotten lullaby. It's a fragile ecosystem of possibility, alive and growing. Nearby, a cluster of binaural dream vines hums softly, their plasmoteal tendrils curling like fingers reaching out to touch the shepherd's robes. The vines seem to listen, responding to the melody, weaving their own silent song in tandem. Scientists still wonder if the vines might share dreams across vast distances. A slow, wordless conversation carried on light and sound. You reach out to touch one tendril, feeling a gentle pulse beneath your skin like a warm wave of tranquility washing over you, a lullaby sung by the universe itself. The sensation is soothing, as if the garden has invited you to join its endless dance of hope and memory. For a moment, you close your eyes and breathe deeply, weightless and calm beneath the glowing canopy. You wonder, if dreams can grow and flourish like plants, could this garden one day give birth to something entirely new, a life born not of flesh or machine, but of hope itself? The soft hum of the garden wraps around you, a gentle embrace as you prepare to move on, your mind eased but curious about what other marvels lie within the celestial dream vault. Past the cathedral-like groves of dream vines, the garden opens once again, this time into a strange and beautiful marshland, where shallow pools reflect not just the twin suns of Saturn's orbit, but glimmers of memory and longing. The ground is springy beneath your feet, a carpet of mosses that emit faint thermal pulses, each one tuned to a different emotional resonance. You step lightly, and beneath your boots, one moss patch sings a note of quiet amusement like a chuckle muffled by sleep. Another patch farther on emits a somber tone, like the last sigh of a remembered goodbye. These are the emotion beds, cultivated over centuries by the garden's keepers to reflect the vast spectrum of sentient experience. The mosses absorb not only environmental moisture but the very essence of dreams stored nearby. Hovering above one of the pools is a curious, jellyfish-like being, translucent, with long iridescent tendrils trailing across the water's surface. It emits a slow series of pulses, bioluminescence flashes in nebula saffron and comet violet, a keeper beside it, dressed in star-glass armor etched with solar maps, explains that these are the emotion singers, non-verbal, semi-sentient creatures that interact with the dream residue to express deep, primordial emotions that language can't capture. You stand silently and watch as one singer sways in slow loops over the pool, stirring the surface until a swirling vision forms, a memory from a dream not your own, a pair of hands releasing a sky lantern over a desert plain, the warm smell of oranges, a low wind carrying a child's voice on the air. You feel it all without understanding. Not as a narrative, but as a sensation that runs from your chest down your arms. The moss beneath your feet hums in resonance, gently amplifying what the singer expresses. Scientists still debate whether these creatures evolved alongside the garden's artificial systems or were drawn here by the energy of the vault. Either way, their presence speaks to a kind of harmony rarely found elsewhere in the galaxy, a biological alignment with the collective unconscious, beautifully impractical, delightfully impossible. Your reflection in the marsh water shifts and warps with the singer's pulses. And for a moment, you glimpse a version of yourself smiling through tears, in a memory you haven't yet made. The moment passes, and you walk on moss humming gently beneath your steps, the garden growing ever stranger and softer as you delve deeper. The air thickens slightly as you wander deeper into the garden, the moist hush of the marsh fading into a cool, crystalline stillness. Here, the lanternfish have dug their nests, iridescent hollows beneath the glowing mycelium arches of a place called the Whispering Caverns. You don't hear whispers exactly, but the sound is close, more like wind caught in the folds of silk, carrying echoes of forgotten bedtime stories, lullabies, and snatches of alien poetry. Above, the cavern ceiling glows with slow-moving constellations, tiny bioluminescent fish drifting through transparent stone like lazy comets. Their light refracts through columns of faceted quartz, creating shifting halos across the walls and floor. It's like standing inside a cathedral made entirely of sleep, a keeper, this one small and round, with plum-colored robes and eyes like polished stone, guides you without speaking. They raise a hand toward a column where dozens of lanternfish are gently weaving filament trails in and out of carved indentations. Each trail shimmers with stored starlight, glowing softly like the trail of a sparkler underwater. These are the nursery lines. The keeper finally whispers, their voice barely above breath. The young ones practice dreams here before they're strong enough to release them. You nod solemnly, as though this makes sense because somehow it does. Nearby, a juvenile lanternfish, no longer than your forearm, nudges a loose pearl into a spiral groove etched in the cavern wall. The pearl emits a soft musical note as it rolls, activating a tiny illusion, a paper boat drifting across an imaginary sea. With a sleeping child inside, it lasts only a few seconds before the pearl dims again, but the warmth of the dream lingers. You can't help but feel a little proud of the fish, as though watching a toddler's first drawing. Scientists have attempted to replicate the Whispering Caverns in artificial habitats, but every attempt fails. The dreams generated lack emotional depth, producing only sterile simulations, technically sound but soul empty. Perhaps, as one Saturnian philosopher proposed, true dreams require not just memory and sensory input, but also longing. A kind of gentle yearning that cannot be coded. You walk the nursery lines slowly, giving the young dream weavers space. Some fish blink curiously at you, others ignore your presence completely. All are busy shaping luminous trails into subtle, abstract echoes of desire or warm embrace. A half-remembered lullaby, a world where nothing hurts. At the far end of the cavern, the path forks. One direction leads up toward shimmering thermal vents, the other into deeper bioluminescence shadow. You pause at the split, letting the quiet cradle you. There's no pressure to decide, no urgency. The garden will wait, and the lanternfish will keep dreaming. You choose the darker path, not out of boldness. Let's not overestimate your bravery, but because it pulses gently with a rhythm your body somehow recognizes, like the slowed heartbeat of something vast and calm, waiting patiently in the folds of ancient sleep. The descent is smooth, winding, and warm, lined with glowing moss that smells faintly of cinnamon and magnetic fields. It clings to your boots in velvet strands, humming slightly as you pass. At the bottom of the slope, the tunnel opens into a chamber called the Echo Nest. You don't read that anywhere. The name arrives fully formed in your mind, like a memory someone whispered into your dreams years ago, and now you're finally remembering it. The Echo Nest is vast, circular, and completely still. No wind, no drips, no footsteps. Even when you walk, the silence here is rich, not empty like a resting place for sound itself. All around you are the nests, dozens of them carefully constructed out of translucent coral, reflective sand, and tangled branches that shimmer with fossilized memory. Inside each nest floats a single, larger lanternfish, its long fins folded like silk wings. Their lights are dimmed now, flickering like candle flames after a long vigil. You realize these are the archivists, the elders of the colony, who no longer swim, no longer hunt, but who preserve the oldest dreams. Their lights still glow, but it's not the bright shimmer of curiosity or new thought. It's the deep, steady gleam of knowing, of remembering. A dream flickers into the air above one of them. You watch a scene unfold, a Saturnian storm sweeping over the plains of another moon. The clouds swirling in perfectly symmetrical spirals, as if the wind itself were humming in harmony. A trio of lanternfish are swimming through the air, yes, air, not water, as if this version of the world forgot how gravity worked. They spin, play, vanish into the mist. The scene dissolves, but you can still feel the joy of it in your chest. It's like remembering a dream from childhood, not the details, just the warmth. You take a seat on one of the low, woven mats by the edge of the chamber. A shallow bowl is placed beside you, filled with clear liquid and dotted with tiny bioluminescent spores. The keeper motions for you to breathe in the vapor, and you do. Half curious and mostly tired, the air becomes softer, more full somehow, and the edges of your vision blow slightly, not in a dizzy way, but like watercolor beginning to bleed across the page. Suddenly, you understand what the Echo Nest truly is. It's not just a resting place, it's a listening chamber. Here, the archivists pulse out dreams not for display, but for resonance. You're not watching stories, you're harmonizing with them. Like your mind is being tuned to some larger memory choir, and that's when something unexpected happens. One of the dreams flares brightly, a flash of starlight, a soundless pulse, and you recognize it, not the scene exactly, but the feeling. It's yours, somehow. Something you dreamed long ago, a forgotten bedtime moment, a floating bridge of lights, your stuffed astronaut bear. It was trivial, it was important, it was you. A chill passes through you, not fear, just a sudden awe that you are part of this, that something in you was recorded, remembered, honored. Scientists speculate whether dream worm colonies like these are connected through sub-quantum neural lattices, if perhaps each lanternfish garden is a node in some gentle, planet-sized consciousness, a galactic nervous system built not of machines or wires, but of memory and kindness. Others believe it's simpler, that these fish just care, that they sense emotional gravity, and swim toward it, gently gathering what others forget. You don't know which theory is right, and for once, you don't feel the need to decide. You simply rest, watching dreams flicker across the vaulted darkness like ancient constellations dancing to their own remembered lullabies.